Things happen. Like you said, there's a lot of people in the ring. Sometimes with the new generation right now, sometimes those guys are probably getting their shit in and don't even know that they're getting their shit in. Okay. So that's what Drew has to regroup, and he has to look at these guys and say, oh shit, they don't have a clue. They don't know.
Let's talk about Drew McIntyre now. He was allegedly upset with somebody for, quote, kind of getting their shit in during the Royal Rumble match, and speculation of who he was talking about because he got so mad. Let me tell you this. He walked out of the building. That's what reports are. He left the Rumble match, walked to the back, grabbed his stuff, and left. He was done. Then you start hearing these reports that he got pissed off because somebody went into business for themselves in the ring. The names that he started kind of throwing around were names like L.A. Knight and Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. Bill, have you heard anything recent? Because the only thing I saw recently was Drew McIntyre commenting that if it didn't come out of his mouth, don't believe it.
Yep.
Have you heard anything else?
No, I've heard the same thing, that it allegedly was L.A. Knight and Logan Paul. But then again, you've got, what was it, about 20 wrestlers at that time or more in the ring at that point. It's not a perfect science.
I can tell you from being on a Rumble match in the Indies, some of the most difficult and confusing matches, and Teddy, you may know this yourself, the Rumbles always seem, it's where the places most people get hurt because there's too many people in the ring in a small area where you're trying to perform, and you have to know when to get down, when to get up, when to throw the attention to the person it needs to go to. They can become very difficult and also very confusing. Teddy, did you ever have that experience in a Rumble match? Did you ever, referee a Rumble match?
Well, basically, when I was referee for the Rumble match, I was on the floor. Yeah, never inside the ring. So, like I said, man, things happen. Like you said, there's a lot of people in the ring. Sometimes with the new generation right now, sometimes those guys are probably getting their shit in and don't even know that they're getting their shit in. Okay, so that's what Drew has to regroup, and he has to look at these guys and say, oh shit, they don't have a clue. They don't know. But sometimes you get frustrated and get mad because, you know what I'm saying, because that can happen. But I just don't think L.A. Knight or Logan Paul meant any harm. I mean, I don't either. They were just doing stuff that they thought that they could do. I mean, because they're brand new to this. Okay, they don't know, so they've got still a long way to go and a lot to learn.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
So mainly L.A. Knight, he's been around for a while, but Logan Paul is still a rookie.
But the thing is too, Bill, even if you've been around for a long while, you still don't stop learning. Every night you step into that ring, and the way I was taught, you go to school. That's what you do. Every night you step in there, you get in there not only to entertain, but to learn.
Yeah, L.A. Knight, not L.A. Knight, Drew McIntyre is a great guy, but he's got a real temper. But a lot of fans, a lot of, internet stuff is that they think this might be a storyline.
Well, I'm starting to wonder. And they may turn it into one.
Yeah, well, like I said, you never know.
Yeah, I when you go back and you watch the match, there were a couple players did not get in the women's Royal Rumble match, and the men tried to give us action. The one thing I noticed in the women's Royal Rumble was that the women would come out and they get in, they do a couple of spots, and then they would just fall to the ground and nobody would do anything until the next person came out. It got very boring. The men came out and tried to create some, places in the match to make you keep watching what was happening in the ring and not just waiting for the next entrant to walk out. The Royal Rumble, too, the one thing I've noticed over the years, God, those shows are long. Those Royal Rumble matches, they're over an hour a piece.
I liked it. I still wonder why the tag team title match had to be 2 out of 3 falls. It elongated the evening.
I agree. I didn't think that was a good spot either, because when you end up at 4.5 hours of a pay-per-view, man, I'm tired. They started at 6, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get to bed early. This will be great. I don't feel good. 10:30 at night before I even crawled in bed.